What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. My name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the BitLab Academy. Now, I've been tuning things up here on the back end for not only the BitLab Live, but also some things for inside the BitLab Academy. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, and ding the bell. We got to talk about what's going on in this market right now because things are looking good. Throw a 1 in chat if all the audio and visual, everything's working well. I scrambled to get this final setup done here. Not only the new layout, but also for the live streams, the different setup that we have for the courses. The courses and stuff we have at BitLab Academy. That stuff's going to be filmed primarily down in that main BitLab studio. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what is going on here. Let me know, guys. Do you guys feel like the new setup looks cleaner? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Well, let's talk about it. Am I talking about the setup on Bitcoin? Am I talking about the setup on what we see right here on the charts? Because what we're seeing is a price action. The levels that we were looking at, I talked about this potentially breaking down for the last couple of days, and we rode up into this zone only to get rejected. And I talked about this potentially being a washout. Of course, we had this targeted a little lower, but as I always talk to you all about these levels are suggestions. They are not guarantees, but that gives you an idea of what area, especially directionality and regionally, about where price can go. Shout out Rodney Cowden. Cowden, how you doing? I see Johnny December in here, Talon, Mario. We got a lot of folks in the house right now. So again, everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell if you're vibing with the new setup here. But we're going to talk about a couple things going on in this market because we see Bitcoin is up. Ethereum, I actually have not looked at Ethereum. We talked about this level. And look at this bounce down into the zone, comes back up and rotated back down. But as we're sitting right now, this does not mean all systems go. We have to realize this is not all systems go yet. This is a setup on the macro sense. As we see on Bitcoin, the macro sense has shown us that we are in an absolutely bullish trajectory. We got some work we're doing up here right in this previous all-time high. Shout out Alex Green, gifting 5 BitLab Academy memberships. Big love to you. We got 2 member streams, actually 3 member streams this week. Alex is doing one today. By the way, do not sleep on Alex. He's got a lot of great information about these markets. He's been in it for years. And then I'll doing one tomorrow. And then, of course, we got one with Joshua Jake on Friday, and that's in the BitLab Academy. But if you are a BitLab member here on YouTube, you get the private link for that so you can join in and watch as well. So shout out Mark Dutch. How you doing? But again, remember this macro bullishness that we've had. Everybody's so worried right here when we have so much nonstop, never-ending bullish news and data. And we're going to go through some of that right now. But when we're seeing this sweep to the downside, look at this. If you're looking at this on the 3-day, essentially this did tap essentially right into this region. Price action is coming back up. But this does, again, not mean all systems go. I do think it's going to go soon, maybe even today. But it might be held hostage for a few more days if we push up into the $71,000 region and reject. If we come back over to Ethereum, very similarly, we had this is actually a reversal candle. So we have this sort of, this candle right here, which shows a neutrality between the bulls and the bears. And then we see right here, the bears tried to suck this down and the bulls said, absolutely not, get off me. So this is actually a bullish setup potentially right now. It's known as a hanging, is it a hammer candle? Or I think it's a hammer candle. Yeah, hammer candle at the bottom, hanging man when you have it at the top. So what we're seeing here is a potential reversal setting up to happen. But again, even like with Bitcoin, we have this $71,000 level directly above us. With Ethereum, we've got this $3,800 directly above us, and we're looking at the 3-day here. But if we come back down, let's say to the 6-hour, this is looking beautiful, but notice this on Ethereum has not yet even, as soon as it's tapped up into this range, look at all these lows right here, option J, we can see this tapped right into the lows, could not get by it. So this is bullish, but with the caveat that we need to wait to see what the data is going to be from Jerome Powell. Now, similarly, coming down the list, what we talk about with BNB. Remember, we talked about it last week, and we talked about this massive sort of bull flag, bull pennant setting up here, and this big sweep to the upside, breakout. And sometimes you see this, you think it's not going to come back and retest, but what do we get? pushes up, really gets people committed long, only to come back in reverse. And look at where it bounced at. It flipped. Right now, it's a perfect flip from previous resistance to support. So it's an SR flip is what we call it as traders and analysts. So it flipped the resistance to support, but we want to make sure that this can continue going up. This very well could still roll over and come down and then lose and go to the downside. It's all going to depend on what that economic data is going to be, the decisions that are going to come from that in the FOMC, as well as Jerome Powell's discussion. Let's head back over to the live chat real quick. What do we see? We see we are happy you are here with us, Talon. Yes, we are. By the way, everybody in the live chat right now, how many of you are newer in the last 2-3 months? You found your way over here into the BitLab community. I want to shout you out. I want to say thank you for being here. I want to just really appreciate you guys. How is the video quality? For some reason, it says auto. It says it's super. Okay, that's a lot better. I was worried that the video quality was trash, but I'm glad. One of the things is I wanted better video quality. I wanted better stuff for when we do guests and stuff. This is where the guest will be. If we have guest screen shares, it will look like this, just giving you guys an idea, a lay of the land. If we have 3 guests, it'll look like this. We got the setup, baby. We're going to dive into it. Let's continue talking about with the market. Again, shout out to everybody that is new. Shout out Rodney Cowden. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ding the bell for Rodney joining in here. Big love. Don't lie, Rodney, Mark Dutch says. Now, let's continue on. I wanted to talk about, what was it, Injective? It's actually, I don't think I have that in this list, so let's go ahead and pull it up. Injective had a nice move to the upside here, but as you can see, this does look a little bit like an inverted head and shoulders. Excuse me. Inverted head and shoulders here, shoulder, head, shoulder, and we're trying to break through the zone, which is not only the sort of neckline that comes in through here, but it's actually a bit angled if you look at this. It has broken through, but now we're contending with really breaking through this with authority because we have all these range lows here. So it's going to be interesting to see on Injective if this is able to continue up. But you know what? Let's go. We got a couple things we got to cover. We have a couple things we want to get into right now to talk about what is going on in the broader context. And we're gonna Alexander G said head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Well, we got to talk about some of the context so we're not lost in the 4-hour, 6-hour, even daily chart. What is the setup here? Because if we understand the setup contextually within the markets, we have a better understanding of how to navigate our emotions and what various strategies we can use. Now, diving right on into it, we had the CPI data come out this morning. CPI data come out, and what did it say? It said while CPI inflation was at 3.3%, inflation at 3.3, inflation is much higher in many basic necessities. Car insurance inflation, 20%, 10% for transportation, 7% for hospital, 7% owner inflation, 5%. All of us know. Throw a 1 in chat if you think that the inflation is actually over this kowtowed fake 3.3% that they're telling us. Remember, the 3.3% is only over a select period of time. If you look at it back since 2007, the inflation somewhere like 30% or something ridiculous. It's actually beyond that in reality. And we know that because when we look at the cost of goods, when we look at the cost of things, we can see, and I wrote this out. Crypto Billy, shout out to Crypto Billy, posted this. It compliments to Kelly Kellum. I actually found this from somebody else. I don't remember who. But we just said, reminder here, it is eminently important to consider the power of the money you hold and how that translates over time to navigating purchasing power. I talked about this quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, last year plus, in that you might see, 2%, 3%. Okay. You have 500,000. Let's say you have 100,000. Let's say you have $10,000 in the bank savings account. You don't trust Bitcoin because it's magic internet money. It comes out of nowhere. That's what the US dollar does. That's how brainwashed all of us are as people. Now, if you have $10,000 in the savings account, you're doing right? Because you're saving your money. Well, if you hold $10,000 for 10 years, what it looks like, how it's progressed over the last 10 years, then that $10,000 doesn't go as far because everything you're buying costs 15, 20, 30, 40% more. So it's in effect like only having $5,000 or $6,000. So you're losing purchasing power. That's why when we're talking about this, yeah, I want to look at the levels. I want to look at the charts. I want to look at the signals. But when we're looking at this right here, we see 3.3%, but we all know things are more expensive. This is why. This is why Bitcoin, because we can see right here, US dollar, you sink, then you drown if you're holding that. Bitcoin, you not only swim, you have a better and better vessel to weather the seas. This is what we're seeing. Inflation controlling your purchasing power since 1913. This is 1928. If you had, $20, absolutely full to the max cart. 1996, you got some stuff in there, for maybe a week or two. And then 2017, you can buy about 3 things in your cart. Now, at the same time period, 2011, 1 Bitcoin, you got almost nothing. 2013, 1 Bitcoin, you got, nearly half a cart full of stuff. 2017, this is only up to 2017. Now with 1 Bitcoin, you can buy a house in some places. It depends on where you're at. But in a couple years' time, you're going to, this is the value that we want to, this is the type of instrument we want to store our value in. Crypto Billy, if you don't know who he is, let's go to his page. He's got an absolutely wonderful thing that they do. I was on his spaces last night. He has this whole thing, Giver's Gain. Wonderful guy in the space, but they basically were doing an NFT book that was made through all the spaces they had. And they had Gary Cardone, they had Charles Hoskinson, me, Crypto Lifer, name it, Frankie Candles, so many different people, as well as members of the audience. And basically it was on different chapters that they created based on topics that had to do with life, giving back, health, wealth, Bitcoin, crypto, how to trade, NFTs, and they're turning the whole thing into a book that also has NFTs for all the different people that spoke and participated. He's helping support a positive movement in the space. So go give him a follow at CryptoBilly111, as you can see there. So special shout out to him. Now coming back into what we want to talk about, remember, this is just funny. I had to share it. We got some really big news today. We have some big signals about where the market's going. But remember all these different things that are going on in the market over the last 20 years with Nancy Pelosi. And not only her, many other members of the House of Representatives and Congress and Senate making, under $200,000 a year, and yet they're worth $100 and something million. They very precariously get involved with some really good stock trades. So here we see Tuttle Capital file for a congressional trading ETF called INPEL for what? Nancy Pelosi, INPEL. And essentially what it does is it tracks the stocks that members of Congress or their spouses have bought or sold. So you can take advantage of that insider trading. And I jokingly said this, I said, absolute genius. If Pelosi can inside trade and make millions, now all can invest in an ETF that tracks those trades. But I think this is just funny. It is sad. I don't put it past Elizabeth Warren or Pelosi or other members of those parts of Congress to then craft a bill that charges those invested in this ETF with insider trading. That would just be a nail in the coffin for not only humor, but also just absolute corruption. But I just think this is funny that this is actually something that launched. Hopefully this is not a joke because it is quite crazy. Yeah. So come on, boom, boom, boom. Remember, I don't care what you're doing right now. I don't care where you're at, your family, this or that. I care, but I'm saying we all have the mechanisms and the means to get involved in this industry. Here's the question. Do you have money? Yes, buy Bitcoin. You do have money, but not for Bitcoin. Well, study Bitcoin, then you're going to buy Bitcoin. Do you have money? No. Do you have a job? No. Well, find a job, study Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Do you have money? No. Do you have a job? Yes. Study Bitcoin, but all paths are going to lead to Bitcoin. The question is, when are you going to get involved in taking advantage of shaping your future rather than your present taking advantage of limiting your future because you're making poor decisions? Let's all do a better job of making smarter decisions, looking a little further out, and making sure that we can actually crush it with this opportunity that's before us. Now, let's get into the big stories. We're going to be jumping into some charts. We're going to be looking at some data. We're going to be looking at some TA. We're going to be talking about what is going on in this market, but we got to set that context. So here we go. The American mining industry, including 3 of the top 5 largest miners in the world, met with Donald Trump to discuss Bitcoin's future in the USA. That's great, but what does it mean? Diving into this right here, we can see vote for Trump. This is from Donald Trump, and I'm reading his words. Again, I like to be politically agnostic here, but we have to, I pointed this out in this follow-up tweet right here, but Anthony Pompliano said, who's a powerhouse of a voice in the crypto and traditional finance space. But we can see the leading presidential candidate has officially been orange-pilled on Bitcoin. We went from the government is going to ban it to the government will embrace it very fast. And in this case, I think it's one of the things, not the only thing, but one of the things that really has garnered him a huge amount of new support, even people that were on the fence. And there's going to be people that would have never voted for him before, but are very involved in these markets that now will, as well as this idea of because this is what he's talking about right here. Bitcoin mining may be our last line of defense against a CBDC. Biden's hatred of Bitcoin only helps China, Russia, and the radical. This is one thing I don't like about Trump. You don't need to cast childish name calling and stuff for sound bites. Let's stick to policy. But overall, he is on this train of, bringing focus back to the U.S. And so that's why I wrote this. Regardless of your own political affiliation, understand that one of the most famous political figures in the world and ex-president is broadcasting resounding support for Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if you love or hate Trump. This is good for Bitcoin. This is good for crypto. It forces other countries. It forces other people. It opens up that channel of at least maybe we should start looking more into this, as we've seen with all those institutions that have aped in the last. And again, I'm politically agnostic on here. I'm never going to tell you which direction I'm voting, but we have to be aware of this as an impact on the space. Now, continuing on, we got some good things to share today. Really nice adaptable power law metric for Bitcoin accounting for volatility. Great work, I said, to Cena 21st Capital. And what we're looking at here is volatility adjusted power law index versus price. It sounds like I'm talking about the flux capacitor. Okay, if you don't understand what all the words are involved with the chart, let's all do a better job of just investigating what we're looking at. This is for any on-chain data. This is for if somebody's sharing a chart. When you're looking at something, okay, take it all in. What are we seeing? Okay, this is a Bitcoin price. He marked out lows and highs, basically these sort of zones. Actually, now it looks like not lows. These zones that correlate with the power law volatility metric low. So price has moved up, but now this is the low, and the high here is also tied, to where roughly about where the market cycle tops were. So what does that mean when we're looking at this? When I see this, these were our 2 opportunities, 15,000. And then remember when we were about I think it was like 18, 25, 24,000 somewhere in here. 2 great opportunities. And this was a bullish divergence on this metric because these are higher lows here. Low, higher low. This is low, lower low. So this was even a better sort of risk adjusted entry right here. But what does it mean? Are we at a top? Are we into a top right now? Well, look at how low this level is. Now we have to account that we have had this period in the past where this did go up and come back down. But this was also pre-halving, and this was also pre-institutional money flowing in. So what this is telling me right here is we have a long way to go before we actually get some sort of top. Now, what else do we see? Volatility adjusted power law index. Okay, we don't even need to look at these because this gets a little bit more complicated. But just looking where we're at, we've got so much more room to go. Similarly, Bitcoin's big move is coming. Have you been preparing? Check it out right here from Mustache El Crypto Prof. We're looking here at the BBWP. That's not an acronym for any of your adult websites. BBWP is a Bollinger Band. Remember Bollinger Bands? The Bollinger Band width percentile. When they're very wide, that means there's been a lot of volatility. When they're very narrow, that means there's been a lot of consolidation. So what we're seeing is that there's been a lot of consolidation. When this is very low, this is another way of looking at the Bollinger Bands being very constricted. Now look at this. We had 1, 2 weeks, 1, 2 weeks, 1 week, 1, 2 weeks. We have 4 weeks right now of compression. What does that mean? Let's go out to the weekly. Let's look at the chart. This is an important metric. It's not going to give you direction. All this other context we're looking into helps supply our information about the direction. But when we look at this, let's turn off, let's go to actually this one right here. Yeah. So let's go to the weekly. We're going to go to, let's see, I might already have, yeah, here we go. So we got Bollinger Bands right here. Let's go ahead and delete this down here. Okay, so see how this compression, those 2 bands compressing in? As they compress in, there's a lot of volatility as this spread out. But as these compress in, just like price goes up, then it comes down. If it goes down, then it goes up. If you have high volume, at some point it's going to oscillate to low volume. And if you have low volume, at some point, all these different data points give you a signal. So what we're seeing when we look at this is when you get this tight compression like you have right here, where it's just going sideways, at some point you have that oscillation from very tight constriction, meaning consolidation, not much big price movement, to an expanse, meaning a large volatility move or multiple movements coming in. It's a coiling before an explosive release. And take for that what you will. But what we're seeing here is not only that, on Bollinger Bands, you have this orange line in the middle. This orange line in the middle is the 20 simple moving average of whatever period you're looking at. So 20 simple moving average means that number, whether it's a 20, 30, 50, whatever the number is, when you're looking at a 20 SMA, it's 20 candles averaged and you get that movement. So you're looking back and this is basically moved based on the average of the last 20 candles. Right? If you're on the daily, for instance, it'd be the last 20 days. If you're on the 3-day, then what's 20 times 3? That'd be the last 60 days. But what we're seeing is here, look, we broke below, came up, retested, came down, found support on the lower bound of this, the Bollinger Bands. Now, what we're seeing here, rejection at the top, and we're finding support. We're staying bullish here on the top of this 20 simple moving average. In fact, just tapping down to it again and holding up currently with where we're at right now. Now, I do want to point out, I talked about a couple on April 19th, the day of the Bitcoin halving. I talked about that somewhere between 40, 50 and 140, 150 days, that consolidation period of sideways price action that we've seen in previous cycles following the halving. So what we see here actually is the price action. Now we're at 47 days. Where are we at now? We're only at 54 bars. People are frustrated with the sideways action, and we're still well within the context of what we've seen every cycle. Now, I don't think we're going to go out to 150 days before this explodes higher. I think it'll be before that. However, we are getting into that zone where a big move is coming, and we've seen historically, typically after halving cycle, the halving occurs, that up is going to be the dominant trend as this progresses forward. That does not say that we cannot have downside price action before that up, because we've seen in previous cycles that we've had, we talked about it yesterday. I think 8 in the 2016, 2017 cycle, we had 8 movements of 26 to 40% washouts on the way up. And so we have been having the most luxurious bull market that we've ever had yet, because of all this institutional money and the hope that's behind it. But it also could be a setup for a huge move that completely wrecks a lot of people. So let's pay attention to what's going on here. I do think up is going to be the dominant trend here, barring some catastrophe. Because remember, we got Russia moving ships into Cuba. We got things going on with China and Taiwan. We got things still going on with Gaza and Israel. We got things going on with Ukraine. There's a lot of things right now that could have a spook sort of black swan sort of, huge sell-off in the market that could rebound quickly. So it'd be good to keep your eyes out and peeled for something like that, and not lose your head if this drops and then you sell down here only for it to rebound. So continuing on with what we're talking about right here, we got some more things we want to talk about. So the BBWP, this is now 4 weeks in a row that this is, coming down into this move. Now, when we see these, we got a pretty large move up after this. Yes, this did end up selling off, but we did get that resolution to the upside. This is another one of those areas. Had that big move up, Bart Simpson pattern, back down, higher low, and then launch. So as you can see, this is up, but this still had a huge shakeout here that a lot of people will could get trapped in. So proceed cautiously as we're moving into this. Everybody, give me a 1 in chat if all the audio, visual, everything's working good. Again, remember, this is a brand new stream setup with how it's looking, the way I operate it, all of it's completely different. So I just want to make sure everything's doing good. Okay, let's see some stuff. Again, shout out to Alex Green for the 5 gifted memberships. And we got Sufficient Enough, Fed and TradFi. Good to see you in here again. Quarter Crawler, Sparrowhawk. We got so many OGs in the house. Big love to each and every one of you. Yeah. All right. So let's continue on with what we got to talk about. This is just reinforcing up. We're going up. We're going to have at least one scary sell-off in this upcycle. We've only had 20% moves to the downside. So the dominant trend between now and summer next year is going to be up. We are going to have a large sell-off. When that occurs, we'll have to see what large thing on global markets triggers that. But something will happen at some point, and we have to be open to that. So let's just pay attention to that. Now, coming on to the next deal here, we got 14,140 Bitcoin worth over 900, almost $1 billion withdrawn from crypto exchange wallets in the last 48 hours. Coins moving off of exchange. That tends to be more bullish than bearish because people are moving them off out of the ability to immediately trade. It's a long-term vision look right now. We got 126 likes. Sorry, we got 126 people in the room, 58 likes, every single one of you. Let's break some records. The new setup's here. We got new people in the room. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Let's find some gratitude for ourselves, for each other, share some love, and also hit that like button. Let's get in on it. Let's make sure that we can get this out to more people. And also, let's YouTube know that you like this content so they don't just put us to the back of the line. I try to give helpful tools, resources, unbiased views on the market, and positive community impact. That's what this channel is about. That's what this community is about. And all of you are part of it for being here. So thank you for that. Now we see smart money stacking Ethereum into this dip. Remember, don't forget, we did get the Ethereum ETF approval. It's not out yet. So there's still a lot of volatility driving factors that can happen here between now and when the approval, when the launch of those ETFs gets rolled out. And are those going to be a surprise like this approval was? Are we going to have an idea? But either way, whales are stacking into this. Do they know something? Whales bought more than 240,000 Ethereum during the recent Ethereum price dip, totaling $840 million. So not only 900, almost $1 billion moving off of exchange for Bitcoin, but Ethereum, whales layering in. I am a bull. I love being able to see you guys' stuff so much more clearly now. I can engage with you so much more. So if you guys have any super chats or any, even if you're members, remember you have your member milestone chats you could post in there. If you have anything you wanted to share or specifically look at, etc. I'm going to try and make this stream a little bit more about you guys, man, because this is a community. So I said this earlier today, before the CPI print, expect volatility today in markets. Yes, everybody's excited right now. This is up. Let's go to the 1 hour. It's up. It's up. But this does not mean it's only going to continue up. We still have the FOMC decision. We still have the Jerome Powell information. Then we also have economic data coming out tomorrow as well. So because we have an uptrend on the 1 hour chart does not mean we're about to hit 85,000. Doesn't outrule it. I think at some point in the very near future, we are going to have some 7,000, 10,000, 20,000 daily candles. But I don't know if we're there at this exact moment, but the setup's there. You have to be prepared as this moves along. Shout out Dave Middleton. Hey, how you doing? Big love. Cosmos and Arbitrum coin now. can't see the bottom word. Woo. It had a bunch of hearts under it. So let's go ahead and look at, we're going to look at some of those TA things here in a moment, but let's get back here and then we can get into the TA. Got the Ethereum volatility. This is what I said. The data will come out and cause a pump or dump. We got the pump. Cool. But then the rate decision adding to chop. Then the tone of Powell's speech, because this gives people forward thought about what may be coming in the market, which will be the most important, providing speculative hope or a further sell-off if dovish or hawkish. We're going to have to see how all these things play out. This is such a political sculpting that the federal government as well as the Federal Reserve is supposed to be agnostic, separate from the government, but let's all be honest, that's not the case. So here we go. More bullish news. Look at this. Brazil's biggest bank, Itaú Unibanco, launches Bitcoin trading to all customers. It has 60 million customers in Latin America. And then look at this from Block Talk. Share this. This is actually quite interesting. We can see this is all the way back 2017. If we zoom this up to, let's see, May 22, we got China got really big. Remember, that's when the Chinese mining ban was happening back then. But now we see, look, Brazil actually outpaced the U.S. for a while. Germany's up in that contention too. But Brazil, Germany, this is a big deal to see that Brazil's largest bank is activating Bitcoin purchases for all of their customers. It has 60 million customers in Latin America. This is big. These are the dominoes building the stack of just confidence in my brain about where this market is going, what is possible. So I welcome dips because I want to take advantage of those dips. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling like. Now let's go head on to, I think we already did that one. Okay, now we got to talk about some data, and then we're going to do some TA. I want to see every single one of you. We got over 120, 130 people in here. I want to see everybody spam 2 coins that they want to see some TA on, and whichever 2 I see the most of, we will add to some of the other, and I'm going to do some other ones anyway, but I want to see some emojis in here. I want to see some bullishness, and I want to see these likes get up to 100 likes. We've got 100, nearly 140 people. Everybody should hit the like button. You're getting free, incredible content here, and I hope that I can help make sure you can navigate this market. Now, what we're looking at here is velodata.app. Free. This is a free service. I'm not affiliated with it. Go sign up if you want to use it or watch me regularly. I'll show you what's going on. But what I'm looking at here is the setup for a potential indication we may get a reversal one way or another. We see ONDO and Pendle, AOS Network, Enzyme. Let's see who else. We got Vet from Dave Middleton. Okay, keep them coming. You guys get in the chat. Let me know what you want to see. But what we're seeing here is price. This is Bitcoin price. This is the aggregated premium, open interest. If this is the premium, positive, that means most people are going long. The premium is negative. That means the majority are going short. So the fact, I talked about this last week, actually it was like June 5th or something, about the price action was getting a little hot coming, I think it was like right in here. As the price action was pushing up, I was talking about a pretty swift move to the downside, small reversal, because the price was moving up. The longs, we see open interest, how much leverage positions are out there. This is increasing. This could be both long and short. But then we also see that there's a lot of longs because this was starting to increase as well, creating an unhealthy situation that could set up for that reversal. But we got the flush out. What we get, the premium that was indicating more longs were here than shorts started subsiding into this. And now we see that people flip to a short, the dominant open interest here is short because this is flipped negative. Now this is going to reset, every about 8 hours or so. But the point here is they flushed out. We just want to make sure that, this doesn't set up for the same thing that we just saw a second ago. Let's get over here looking at what's going on here. This is the Bitcoin price. These are those levels that we're watching. If we zoom out and zoom in on this, we can see this is sweeping. This swept all these levels here. And this is pushing up now, up in here to where the next liquidity zone is still above us. Now, one would say that this is relatively high, but we can see on this look, liquidity above us, directly above us, directly above us. And there's a lot more here than we see below us. Similarly, we can also see this hot zones, very hot zones here directly above us. And the next level right up in here, the 72,000. If we can clear the 71 zone and clear 72 into this zone, I think the price action is going to move very quickly because we're going to be having a lot of forced closures likely on shorts that have opened. So the setup is here. We cleared out a little bit of health, but don't get too excited yet because we still have to wait for that data to come out. So let's pay attention to that. Now we talked about this. I think it's time, guys. If you guys ready, are you guys ready to dive in some TA? See what some levels we want to look at? Remember, this is going to be it's very speculative because we don't know what direction the rate cut's going to be, but also the rate cut or not is going to be, and also Jerome Powell's position on it. So that being said, that makes no difference to me on how I do my TA. If you guys watch me, if you've been watching me, I always give you the bullish and the bearish case. If you're not doing that when you're doing TA, you're setting yourself up for failure. You got to make sure you're setting yourself up for, unbiased view about what's happening. Because if you don't have the opposite direction of what your bias is mapped out, then you act emotionally and make a stupid trade or a bad decision in this market. All right, so Bitcoin, we're going to be fairly quick on because we already talked about this. Ultimately, I'm watching this zone right up here, 71, this descending trend line, which goes all the way back here to the previous all-time high of this range and the entire market, because we broke up beyond the previous all-time high here, right? So 73.5, 73.6, and we see rejected. Let's get back over to our indicators here. So we're watching this zone, but we also have to watch, we have to account for this. Basically, look at that. What we talked about before, 72,000. Look at where this rejected. 71,952. So we have a box here, which is actually perfectly outlined on the BitLab trading stack here with these order block right here, directly above us. The BitLab trading stack, one of the components is a volume. It showed where there's a lot of liquidity interest defending an area. This suggests, one, if we can clear this defended area here, I think we will likely be moving into the zone 70,800 to 71,000. And if we can clear this, we have some work to do directly above us. But if the momentum is there and there's, some other catalyst is bullish, then we could absolutely see this rocket. Let's see Sawtooth Hiker with all the emojis. Big love to all of you. Now let's go ahead and turn on the BitLab intelligence, part of the BitLab trading stack. We're seeing a little bit of caution at the moment with some somewhat bearish. This is the candle structure in regards to moving averages as well. We're getting a potential, doesn't mean it has to reverse, but a potential weakness in the zone, which makes sense because we have this huge data that's coming out later. Let's be aware of that. So this is just preaching caution right now. We have these teal candles, which means there's a lot of buying pressure and then a little caution. A lot of buying pressure, a little caution. But look at how much smaller, big momentum, very small momentum. And we have two stopping volume candles right here. But at the same time, we are seeing on the BitLab trend fuel, part of the BitLab trading stack, we can see that although the momentum is coming back towards zero. See how these are white? They flip green. This little green bar. These green bars are suggesting that there's more buying pressure, which makes sense because we had all that volume and buying coming in right when the CPI data got released. So what we're watching here, let's get out to let's go to the 2 hour here. I think this will be a good time frame to look at. We have defeated the lows of this range, so that is bullish. Bitcoin is pumped up. Now we're being held at this sort of zone here. Well, look where the cursor that goes all the way across. We have this rejection. We also have this rejection in the same kind of area, but then look, also rejection here, but then also bounce here. So there's a lot right in the zone, a lot of interest in this price level, If we reject here, it's not the end of the world. I watch for any pullback down into a higher low, for instance. Let's measure it from about right here. I'd be looking not necessarily at the golden pocket, but isn't this interesting? Look at where the golden pocket is. This 61865, right where the weekly VWAP is. My favorite metric on the BitLab trading stack. By the way, if you have the BitLab trading stack, I just want to show you. Come over here to BitLab Intelligence, hit your settings, and if you want to turn on that weekly VWAP, scroll down. Right here it says VWAP settings. You can turn on daily, weekly, and monthly. I like the weekly is the one I utilize. And if you have all these other signals that are on here, you can turn on your I don't really like the strong signal very much on Bitcoin. And that is essentially, if we zoom out, you'll see. So you see these trend shifts and the flags and all that. That is, where to go? Right here. So that's the shift. You'll see disappear here in a second. This is there we go. Slow internet. Reversal signals. These are these reversals. I prefer to have this kind of set up just like that. And you get kind of signals based on the TA underlying the chart. Just quick look. I don't trade specifically on it. I use every indicator, even within an indicator, trying to look for multiple supports, multiple confluence. In this case right here, what do we see? We saw 5 bullish divergences right here. You see this? 5? There's 5 bullish divergences right there, immediately followed by the likely reversal. Boom, and look, what do we get? Huge volume 2, and we slice through the weekly VWAP. So we are looking good. If we do get a pullback, which is, would make sense, I'm looking very bullishly to this level right here, 68.8. If we lose that, then potentially down here, I'd like to regionally hold above the weekly VWAP. We'd also have consecutive higher lows in this area as well. Now, if we do break through again, break through this zone, I think we're coming into here, maybe a little bit of a pullback here and then a continuation up. And I think it'll be a fast move up into those targets that we had from before. $74,000. And then the next target, the larger target up here, $84,000. That's what we're looking at. Now, so we got to look at Ethereum. Again, I just pulse check everybody here. 148 people in the room, 77. Everybody, 77 of you hit the like button. For those of you that are new here, there's a first stream. I just completely redid the stream setup. So I'd love everybody in the chat. Let me know. Thumbs up if you like the changes. Thumbs down if you hate it. Double thumbs up if, I don't know, if you like tacos. Let's get some engagement going in that live chat. I'm curious. I just want to make sure you guys like the new setup, like the new look with a lot cleaner, with all the different things going on here, on the screen. Pulse check. I don't want to do things just to do them. I want to make sure you guys are enjoying what's going on. Also, let me know if the background here, let me know if the background here is distracting or if you'd like me to pause it. I can also do that. I just want to make sure you guys are enjoying it because I want to deliver the best quality content for you guys. And part of that is making sure it's not irritating or distracting or ugly. I want you to like it. Now, Ethereum. Okay, we see some thumbs up. All righty, cool. Big love to everyone. Big love to every one of you. All right, so what we're seeing here, Ethereum, we got a couple things we got to pay attention to. We got all these lines everywhere. So let's go ahead and delete this because this is already, for the most part, played out. Let's turn off the indicator for a second. We came down and tapped this and lost it and came a little bit further down. As it stands right now on Ethereum, it's sitting right under these previous range lows, right? So if we can push into this zone, I'm confident that we're going to take basically attempt the 38 level, 37,996, $3,800. But we have to realize we have a lot of price memory in this zone. If we do push up and the market just zooms up into the zone and then launches, then great. The next level we're going to be watching is 39.61 and then $4,000 up in this zone. As it stands right now, look at this momentum wave on the 2-hour. Nice swing here. VWAP angled up. Stochastics looking a little bit overheated. They're starting to round out. RSI also starting to sort of double top here. This could call for a little bit of a move down into the 35.50 sort of zone, which would also be in line with what? We have an upward trend line here, right? We have an upward trend line here, and this, where is this at? 35.40, 35.50 sort of zone, which would also be a continuation of the box that we had. See how these things play out? If we can hold this, then great. We're basically doing the work to then potentially make the move up. If we lose this and come down, I'm looking at a retest down to 3,400 and then potentially down to 3,200. Now, there's a couple other things. Let me scroll back. Let me see what you guys were saying in here. What's up, buddy? I'm down for basic. Come say hi. We got the new setup. Yeah. Check it out, dude. We got the new setup. Mr. Blockchain Basement's in the house. We got Drucifer.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Double Arculus boys.
I know, huh? We're rocking them, man. Shout out to y'all. This is the BitLab stream.
Yeah.
All right, then. I made it.
Completely redid the entire.
Love it, dude. It's a great layout. We got, what is it, Alexandra Sawtooth in here? What's up, people? What's up? Nice.
So what am I going to be on the show on Wednesdays or something?
Well, on Wednesdays, that's the plan here. And also, I'm really glad you're on today. We got, it looks like the Air Force is scrambling 25 miles off the coast of Florida. You see the nuke sub from Russia and then the fleet. It's getting hot. So we're going to be going into that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Let's get into that for
All
sure.
right. Hell yeah.
Shout out to Drew, Blockchain Basement. If you guys are not following them on not only YouTube, but on Twitter, but also on onlyfeet.com. Make sure you follow Drew. He's one of my favorite people here in the space and also here in our offices. Let's get back into the thick of it. So I'll be on. I'm going to try and be on Blockchain Basement on Wednesdays, 2 p.m. So make sure you check that out. Okay, let's see. You know what? Dave Middleton, always posting, always involved in everything we're doing. I'm going to make sure we do Filecoin for him. I saw a lot of ONDOs. What else did I see? We can do Caspa, and we'll see if we can do a couple more. Drew needs FOMO'd, says Ethan Smith. A shout out to Ethan Smith, who actually launched a meme coin, and it's actually doing quite well. You can figure out what the name is because it is there in the super chat that he just did. But remember, everybody trade at your own risk, and also make sure when you're trading meme coins or investing, you're never investing in meme coins. If you're trading meme coins, make sure you know what your exit strategy is and make sure you're not doing it with more than probably 2 or 3% of your portfolio total. Say you have 10 meme coins. I mean, it should be probably around the 1% mark. So just be very smart there. And he, shout out to Ethan Smith. He launched his meme coin on Omni, which means it was a fair launch token. So shout out there. Now, let's go ahead. We're jumping into ONDO. Shout out to Ethan Smith and Kelly. Needs my picture in the background. We could, hey, you know, sponsored photo in the background. Whoever's the largest super chat of the day, that'd be kind of funny. We could do that. We could do that. There's got to be a threshold though, because it'd get kind of ridiculous. All righty. So what are we looking at? ONDO. Let's get in to ONDO. I actually already have it here. ONDO Finance just been making some waves since. Look at this chart. How many of you in the live chat right now? How many of you are in ONDO? When did you get in? I shared ONDO in the BitLab Discord to the community, and then a few days later here on the BitLab live stream. It was very early on. It was like the middle of February or something like that. Price was, I think, roughly around the 20 to 30 cent range, and the price action has just been, it has just been ripping. It's got, it's included in the BIDL stuff with BlackRock and tokenized assets. This is, I think, although this has been performing so well, I think this is going to have an absolutely amazing bull run. So what do we see here? Price is at about $1.38. What was the all-time high? About $1.50, a little under. So what we're seeing here is an incredible bullish structure so far. Look at this. So we have this little bit of a bounce just above, a little deviation just below, but we're following this path. It does bring some concern that we had this large movement, and as you can see here, much smaller movement. And then what we can see here, again, we can see here, smaller movement. If we go down to, let's say, the 8-hour, we can see that this is sort of a little bit rounding, but the market as a whole was taking a pretty big pullback over the last few days, or the last month or so, or chopping sideways. And ONDO is no different, chopping sideways here, but just it keeps having such positive news, and the amount of TVL that they've got is just growing. But look at this weekly VWAP. Look at this, not weekly VWAP. Look at this VWAP on the 8-hour. It swung down, and now has not only swung up, it's back above the zero line and angled up. Stochastics angled up, RSI angled up, having a little bit of a, breather at the moment. But look at this. Look at this bearish divergence right here, what signaled a likely move to the downside. What does it say with the other indicators? We had a trend shift right there, which means either likely sideways or down. What we get sideways, then down. Now we have this trend line essentially from these bounce. And look where the price action is at, hovering right in this zone. Once we can push up and sort of tackle this zone, $1.45 sort of zone, likely a bit of a move down, and then that continuation to the upside. But look at setting up for bullishness here. I mean, I'm bullish on ONDO. I am not selling. If this does move down and test down here into the $1.16 or maybe a double bottom here from this over, which is $1.20 sort of region, I would be a net buyer here. And if it went lower, I'd buy again because of the partnerships, the integrations, the TVL that is involved with ONDO. So as it stands right now, I'm very bullish on this. I'd watch for a little bit of a pullback, likely to if it does pull back to the $1.30 range, the top side of this zone here, $1.31, $1.32, and then potential continuation to the upside. All right. So yeah, looking good on ONDO. What was the other one? Filecoin, FIL actually. Filecoin. Let's look at Filecoin. Filecoin, they had a really big booth at Consensus. This is looking a little more bearish. I'm not trying to FUD bags. I'm not trying to be bullish on anything. I'm looking at a chart. My initial impression is usually it's the dominant thing that's being displayed. So when we're looking at just a price action, we see the price action, large move up, breakdown, large move up, breakdown, and kind of, it's almost like a shoulder, head, right shoulder, but not quite because it doesn't really get up in there, but there's a lot of similar structure here. If this does move to the downside, I'd be watching for basically an opportunity down here at 445 to 460 sort of zone, potential larger spill. But I'm on the fence of, even though this has a bearish structure, I've got a feeling this market is about to shock some people and ignore some bearish patterns. Think about that. That's what I think is coming here soon. If we do get a washout down, watch for a spring opportunity for a move to the upside. Look at this. Daily. The money flow is, all this redness at the moment, but the money flow is starting to round back out. What does it look like on the 4 hour? 4 hour. Look, okay, we got the momentum clipped, coming back up. Look at this. VWAP now has a positive spread here on the BitLab Trend Fuel. Volume is starting to tick up. What does it show on the BitLab intelligence on the specific TA? We're at a threshold right now that needs to break bullishly if we're expecting this to go up. That is the weekly VWAP right here at 571. You see it's marked out specifically. It tells you the level we're watching. When we're below it, we're playing a bearish spread. The bears are in control. When we break above this, we want to, in some ways, wait for it to come back and see where it tests that weekly VWAP, and if there's indications it's going to bounce and have continuation or break back through, and then that bullish move was a trap. So what we want to see right now is this break above and actually clear this zone, but it might break above, find some support, then launch. But ultimately, fairly bullish on this in the long run, although this does have a fairly bearish structure playing out right now. Watch for a move to the downside. Render. I saw some renders in there as well. Render, look at this, kind of a bearish structure here. And this broke down, where to go? Right to the BitLab trading stack. Automatically shows you supreme area of interest on the chart. And where to come to? Boom, like a magnet, boom, down. And then where to go next? Right back up into the order block right above it. All this is on the BitLab trading stack. And guys, you can get that. We still have a huge deal going on right now. Head over to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. You have to type all that in, lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. I'll paste it. It could be Kelly or Deal. The same thing. It's going to be the same thing. But I'm going to paste this in the live chat. If you guys want to get involved with BitLab Academy, the Discord where we have all the trading signals, the charts, the breakdowns, the member streams, right after you sign up for this, right here, when you click join with my special discount, you get not only 15 days free, you get locked in for life at a 33% discount, which is like, it's like $25 or something like that. If you want the indicators, as soon as you sign up, then the next page is if you want to upgrade to the indicators, as well as you get access to all the entire course stuff as well. That is not 15 days free, but it's because you can immediately use it. It's going to immediately, I mean, if you're trading and using this stuff, it'll immediately pay for itself with the deals, with the trades that you're making. So make sure you head there, lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Get in on that while this is still available. It is pinned in the live chat right now. Now, getting back over here, let's do a couple more TA things. I love you guys, by the way. I actually feel more excited with this new setup because I can see everything. We're probably going to be doing some extra streams each day. I know I'm going to be doing more live streams and member community stuff in the BitLab Discord. But I'm going to be doing more live streams here on the BitLab page as well. Render broke down. Look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Broke through the weekly VWAP, came up to the next order block right in this zone. Watch for a move down somewhere above, a test above the weekly VWAP for continuation. That's signaling the bulls are back in control. But we're seeing the money flow is starting to arc back up. We had bullish divergence on the money, on the momentum waves. We started having strong buying pressure, which is why this is green, which is why this candle is teal. Things are looking good. Let's look at GRT. I don't know if it was Ethan Smith or somebody just said, we got to look at GRT though, because GRT is one of those picks we made, back in, I swear, GRT USD. There we go. I knew it was on Coinbase. Okay, look at this. Nice move to the downside. Candles signaling a likely reversal. See this? Large bearish candle. A doji spinning top candle, another spinning top candle, hanging man, hammer, reversal. This is telling you in candles themselves. And then we get all this volume. The price action takes out the weekly VWAP right here. We have bullish divergence. Look at this on the momentum waves. This was giving you that signal. Where to go? Right to the order block. Pause there. Watch for a little bit of a move down at some point if this doesn't continue. And you'll still have a higher low, signaling that reversal is really kind of coming fully in place. We got to look at Fetch, though. We got ASI tomorrow, potential washouts, whipsaw both directions. So let's pay attention to what's going on here. This also, look, reversals, boom, took out the weekly VWAP. I would be a little bit more cautious to trade this right now because this is about to basically merge over to ASI along with Ocean and AGIX. But things are looking good. There's bullishness in this market right now, but the setup is there to also wash people out. So with that being said, we got to be careful about what we're looking at and what's going on in this market, because here's the total 2 that's looking like the altcoins want to go. Total 3 minus Ethereum again. Let's go ahead. I don't know why that zoomed in. There we go. Remember, we still have the altcoins are lagging. Bitcoin's trading around and above previous all-time high. We still have 42% of the way to go before the total, all the altcoins, the index even gets to the previous all-time high. And then then once it breaks this, then we have room to go beyond that. So it's still stack central right now, everybody. With that being said, guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Everybody hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. And I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. Get in the BitLab Discord. We have two member streams that I have scheduled in here. You see up here, I believe Alex Green, let me know if I'm wrong. I think you're doing one today as well. Another one. Oh, I didn't schedule the one for Thursday. Yeah. So Alex Green is today at 2:15. Friday, we got Joshua Jake, and I'll be doing one tomorrow as well. I think with John Dalton. So actually we can see right here. Let's see what Johnny Boy said. Hey bro, traveling. Oh, I can't. So I will bring in Kevin Svensson or another outside huge trader. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. And remember, if you're making this money, if you're stacking into the future, if you're trying to really do well, you got to make sure that you protect your capital, protect your future. Make sure you head over to getarculus.com, the number one crypto cold storage wallet solution out there. You can use code LAB10, LAB10, Lab 10 for 10% off. It's my favorite crypto wallet out there to protect yourself. With that being said, guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Over and out. See you in the Discord. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for being here. Each and every one of you are our crypto friends. Let's go, people.